All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're looking at something that honestly seems pretty simple on the surface, a vocabulary list. For third graders. You know the type. But what if I told you that there's a whole story hidden inside these 10 little words? A really powerful one. Let's dig in and see what we can find.
So that's the big question, isn't it? What kind of story can 10 simple words possibly tell? Think of this as a little detective mission. We're going to uncover a secret narrative that's been hiding in plain sight, and along the way, we'll stumble upon a pretty brilliant teaching strategy.
Okay, so first things first, let's look at the evidence. This is the list. You've seen this before, right? It's the kind of thing you'd find in any elementary school, maybe stuck on the fridge with a magnet. And at first glance, it's just a list of words to memorize. Seems pretty ordinary.
And here they are, our 10 words. We've got parents, raise, protect, listen, practice, homework, teach, helmet, bake, and family. They feel kind of random, right? A mix of people, things, and actions. The first reaction for most of us would be, all right, time to break out the flashcards.
And yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. Just a regular old tool for learning some new words. But here's the thing. The real magic, the really cool part, isn't in the words themselves. It's in the structure that's hiding just underneath.
And this is where it gets interesting. This is where we shift from seeing a simple list to seeing a whole system. Because it turns out these words aren't random at all. Nope, they've been picked and organized with a very specific purpose in mind.
Okay, so check this out. Once you start grouping them, a super clear pattern just emerges. The words fall neatly into two buckets that basically define a kid's entire world, at home and at school. I mean, family, parents, bake, that's all home stuff, right? Then you've got teach, homework, classic school pillars, and then there are these other words, raise and protect. Those are things that happen mostly at home. And a helmet? Well, that's something you put on at home before you go out into the bigger world.
And you can see here, there's a real balance. It's almost like the list is building a child's entire ecosystem. About 40% of the words are grounding us in the home, the absolute foundation of a kid's life. The other 60%? That's building out the world of school and learning. It makes total sense for a vocab list to lean a little more towards school stuff, but you can see how it's still so firmly rooted in that home experience.
So now that we've found the structure, we get to do the really fun part. We can take these two pillars, home and school, and actually weave them together to tell the story that was hidden here the whole time.
Every good story has to start somewhere, right? And this one starts with the most basic building block of all, family. A group of people living together. This is ground zero. It's the setting, the absolute heart of a child's universe.
And inside that family, of course, we have parents. They're the ones who raise you, who nurture you. The story these words are telling us is that home is a place of care, of warmth, where an action like baking is about so much more than just food. It's about creating comfort, creating memories. The story of home is all about building that solid foundation. Then, our story gets bigger. The child steps out of the home and into the world of school. And look at this. The list gives us a perfect little 4-step guide to what learning is. First, an adult will teach you. Step 2, your job is to listen. 3, to get good at it, you have to practice. And finally, to make it all stick, you do your homework. It's this perfect self-contained educational loop.
So what's the bridge? What connects these two worlds of home and school? Well, it's the universal idea of safety. The word protect and its real-world example, the helmet, they link everything together so neatly. Your parents protect you at home, and that helmet protects you when you're out there in the world, traveling between your two main spots.
But look, this isn't just some clever little word game. There's a really powerful reason why this teaching method works so well. I mean, why go to all the trouble of hiding a story in a simple list?
Well, it's because the absolute best teaching doesn't just throw facts at you. It gives you a framework, a place to put those facts. And you know what? A story is basically the ultimate framework for our brains. Think about it. When we learn something through a story, we're not just memorizing random bits of data. We start connecting with the ideas emotionally. The story itself gives you a structure, like chapters in a book, which makes it way easier to remember everything later. And maybe the most important part, it takes abstract concepts and makes them totally concrete. It turns a fuzzy word like protect into a real, solid thing you can picture, a helmet. And that simple connection right there, it makes a huge difference in how well we remember things. Seriously, this isn't just a vocab list. It's a little masterclass in how to teach effectively.
And that really brings us to the final takeaway here. This little list just goes to show you that stories are literally everywhere, hiding in places you would never ever expect. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other hidden stories are out there, all around us, quietly shaping the way we learn and see the world? Definitely something to chew on.